So we have a relatively really big week that's going to be coming up this week if you are watching this on release day. Hey everyone, how's it going today, and welcome back to another fourth stimulus unemployment update. So the big thing to really know is that this upcoming week there are going to be several deadlines that are going to be approaching. It was originally believed, so if you've watched other videos about this, it was originally believed that today on release date, Monday, September 27, 2021, we were originally going to finally have decisions about, or certainly let's just say is to have the vote about what Congress will ultimately end up deciding when it comes to the fourth stimulus package. But what really ended up happening is that yesterday at night, very last minute on Sunday, September 26, 2021, Nancy Pelosi has officially come out to ended up expressing that apparently now she actually ends up wanting to actually delay the vote until this Thursday on September 30th, 2021. Now, the big thing to note is that that's not actually the only big date. There are actually several things that they're going to be working on between now and then. Everything when it comes to things like the fourth stimulus package, the budget bill. We did make a video that talked a little bit about that and also about how it might potentially impact unemployment. I'll put it at the very end screen. I believe the name of that video is literally just called House Approves and then changes to unemployment or something along that lines. But the big thing is that it has been a little bit of a while, so in today's update I really just want to talk about what exactly has been going on with the world of fourth stimulus package and all of the super important details to really get alert about, because this is going to be the big week. So with that being said, we're gonna get started, but as always, maybe real fast before we begin, as always, consider smashing the like button because it is always greatly appreciated. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell for similar videos and other kinds of finance topics. I'll put a bunch of videos at the end screen that are hopefully related. And as always, feel free to comment any questions, thoughts, or information about honestly just really anything. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So when it comes to the world of just all of the fourth stimulus package bills, right now at this current time, which might sound a little bit confusing, is that there are essentially several bills that are currently on the table. The first one, which is the one that we are going to be talking a lot about because this is the one that they are hoping to try to get a vote in, is going to be the one about the $1.2 trillion fourth stimulus package. This is essentially like the more bipartisan bill that both parties, so specifically the Democrats and Republicans, are really trying to negotiate to try to come together. We do have another bill, which is probably the one that's been around for much longer, which is essentially the $3.5 trillion package. The big thing right now is that is essentially the package that most of the Democratic Party really want to be able to get through, because this is the one that has all the different like major social, so think like child tax credit, healthcare, like most of the big dominant social programs, they're going to be in that particular package. However, right now the problem is that there's a lot of disagreement between what they currently want to do and what they actually physically can do, because they have to be able to actually physically get everything in for a vote. And the story right now is that there are some people that support the 1.2 package, there are some that support the 3.5 package, and there's some that are actually trying to get all of these packages approved together. So the idea really is that there's a lot of social disconnect with what they actually physically want to do. The one great news I will admit is that there have actually already been a lot of GOP Republicans and people that have actually now voiced in support of some kind of bill. So why this is particularly important is because, as some of you guys may or may not know, is that, and I think it's very fair to say if you've been following around for a while, that for most of these stimulus package negotiations, actually even dating back since the second stimulus package, we have had a lot of situations where essentially we would run into a case where, and again, just speaking objectively because this is what's physically happening, where a lot of the Democratic Party would try to propose a giant package, and then a lot of the Republicans would end up just being against it, and then they would kind of just look at it aside. But the great news is that we are now actually starting to see several GOP Republicans come in support and favor of the stimulus package. The only thing is that it's not necessarily the package that is the $3.5 trillion that they all want to agree on. So the great news is that now there are people from both parties that are trying to support doing a particular something. So it's not like, someone wants to run away, but the disagreement is about what they actually want to physically do. And that's really what the debate is going on right now. The biggest important dates to really know why this is going to be a particular week is because, aside from the fact that just mentioned, is that the first off is that by this Thursday, Nancy Pelosi has an assignment, or that she's officially agreed that she will be holding a vote inside of the House to try to approve the fourth stimulus package. At the same time, because of that reason, they are now also trying to see if they can work out plans about the larger stimulus package. And additionally, on top of that is that because they've now officially approved inside of the House the budget bill in order to do these programs and everything that's been happening, and of course the government funding, because as we talked about in a previous video, which again I'll leave it at the end screen, it's the one literally called House Approves How Unemployment Can Change, because it talks all about the government funding side, which I think is actually really, really important, because if you are someone that has some kind of care, hopefully, or just some interest, let's just put it that way, about social programs, whether this is Medicaid, Medicare, unemployment, food stamps, anything like that, that video talks a lot about how the funding that we are currently trying to approve is going to potentially impact all of those different programs. But the big one right now is that everything's being tied together, because if they are not able to do any of these packages by the end of this week, then it is very, very possible that a government shutdown may potentially happen, which the long story short is that it's going to just lead everything that we've been talking about, or just that you have probably been hearing, to take pretty much a step back. Let's just put it that way, to basically potentially now have to almost basically just, I don't want to say restart, but certainly just to change a lot of things and a lot of the progress that we've already been making over everything, whether this is about just stimulus programs, unemployment, everything that's been going on. So the idea, really, what the bottom line is that because Nancy Pelosi has officially set a deadline, because the government funding is also going to potentially set to run out very, very soon, and because of a lot of the key dates and a lot of the stuff that the politicians are trying to make, especially by the end of this month, that is the biggest reason why this is the week that's going to be really, really relatively important to see what ends up happening, because this is going to essentially decide a huge part of the faith of what they end up doing with, basically, just simply put, is stimulus programs in general. Whether this ends up becoming something that maybe they want to modify, which is very possible. Right now it looks like they're going to potentially have to modify it. Maybe they include other kinds of programs, but this is the week where we're going to find out a lot of big information. So I think that's the biggest thing to really just keep a huge alert and heads up about. Now, I will maybe quickly share is that some bright news is that some of the politicians that we knew that was, very much against a lot of the stimulus packages, so specifically people like Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, that you guys have probably heard of, the bright news is that they have now actually come out to state that they see progress is happening and that they actually do support some kind of program. However, they just don't necessarily, and they certainly do not support the big program. So specifically, the big program we're talking about is the $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan. But according to them, I do know is that Biden did host a meeting around the end of last week. They did get together, and according to their words, they feel that they've made progress, and I think it's that they've come closer. Obviously, what does this mean? It's a little bit of a vague statement, but you can definitely see at least there's some level of urgency that hopefully is not only starting to happen that you can see, but hopefully can get even more so as we roll in over to the next couple of days. But that's really the big thing that I really wanted to share in today's update, to kind of give you guys a little bit of an alert. So if you guys maybe enjoyed that or found some relative insight, maybe consider smashing the like button if you guys haven't done so. Consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and feel free to maybe comment any questions, thoughts, or maybe predictions about what you think this week is going to play out. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.